The election to the new Super Councils 2 weeks ago ushered in a wave of young, eager faces to the political scene here. The newly elected councillors will soon be cutting their teeth with more power and responsibility than those serving in local government in the past. But just like comic book superheroes, with extra power comes extra responsibility. So how ready are they? Joining me now, Alex Redpath of the Ulster Unionists, the SDLP's Laura Devlin and Ross Brown from the Greens. You're all welcome to the programme. Ross Brown, are you sufficiently well equipped, do you think, to deal with the new powers on the new super councils that are going to take up authority in 10 months' time?
I believe so. I trained as an economist, and that, I think, has given me a good background in terms of many of the economic development issues, for example, that will be taken up by the councils, and also having an understanding of the principles of sustainability. Incorporating that into the whole planning policy, I think, is going to be very important as well. So
you may be confident for yourself then, and why would you not be? Do you think that other new councillors who are going to face the same challenges that you're going to face next spring will be equally well qualified and prepared?
Well, I'm willing to work with everybody on the council and share my expertise and experience, and certainly do my very best to make sure that the council is an effective body. I think more importantly, the council's also been given powers like community planning, and I think it's really important that we actually have the communities equipped to not just be passive consultants in the whole community planning process, to actually be active participants. So I think even more importantly than our politicians, who are of course going to get training, is to empower our communities and equip our communities to make sure they can actually become participants in the whole process.
Laura Devlin, are you as confident as Ross Brown is?
I am, Mark. I come from a slightly different background, very much a constituency background, 11 years experience working in constituency offices. I do feel that experience will stand me in good stead. The council I'm a part of now is Newry, Mourne and Down, and I think we have a really good mix of people there. We have a lot of new people, fresh blood, which is brilliant, but we also have a few councillors who have significant experience. Dermot Kern, 40 years in local government, has seen through 3 separate councils. So to depend on that experience, I think will put us in a good fit more moving forward.
Alex, are you confident, or are you? Do you ever wake up in the middle of the night and think, "Blimey, what have I let myself in for?"
Occasionally, but I think I've got a good background of power ahead with this sort of thing. I've lived in my district my entire life. I'm a
That's
governor.
Lisburn and Castlereagh.
Yes, I'm indeed my own district electoral area, Downshire West. I'm a governor of a local special needs school. I had experience in representation from my role in Queen's Students' Union and Queen's University Senate, so I think I have the skill set there. And I'm also confident for my colleagues and for the other councillors on Lisburn and Castlereagh. We have this shadow period, and as Ross alluded to, we're going to be receiving training. And yes, there are big challenges ahead, but I'm confident for myself, I'm confident for my party, and I think we can really grasp these challenges and start delivering for community on these issues.
And there are big challenges, Alex, aren't there, as well, on things like where the councils are going to be headquartered. I mean, you've got 2 big unionist councils in the past, Lisburn and Castlereagh, now merged. Is that going to be a harmonious marriage? Some people will wonder. There are also issues like flags and emblems, and if we're not careful, maybe the new super councils will be caught on the hook of those issues before they actually make progress in any of the other big issues.
Well, I think there are potentially controversial issues, and I've been meeting with my group councillors on Lisburn, and you've got an immensely diverse range of views there. I represent Moira, one of my colleagues represents the complete other side of the constituency as far away as Dundonald. Those are 2 very different communities, and one of the first things we're going to be doing is trying to build a sense of teamwork between the 2 areas and to try and create a shared identity. And again, you've alluded to some controversial topics such as flags and emblems, and I think the best way to approach those issues is just with maturity and respect for your colleagues, and to try and come up with a collaborative approach forward.
Ross, Belfast is the least changed of the councils, and that's where you're going to be serving. Do you think it could nonetheless get caught on the hook of flags and emblems, because that's where the whole flags protest, of course, was created?
I certainly agree with Alex. They approach the matter with a degree of maturity, but they also recognise that the issues of flags and emblems, I think they're symptomatic of much deeper and wider issues in our society, and underlying social issues, whether we have issues of intergenerational poverty, education and health issues. And I think that when you speak to people in the community, these are the issues that are important for them, and in that sense I would very much hope to be focusing my time and my agenda on actually dealing to make sure that people in our society aren't being left behind, because there's far too many people out there that feel that the government isn't delivering for them. So on those issues, that's where my focus will be.
Laura, the flags might not be an issue just in the same way in Newry, Morningdown as it might be in some of the other council areas, but you had the whole issue of the Raymond McCreesh Play Park, of course, which some people are saying needs to be addressed by the new super council whenever it gets underway in 10 months' time. Again, could there be difficult issues that will hold you back in the future, do you think?
I'm sure I would love to sit here and say that there won't be difficult issues. Obviously, there will be, but I think the key thing is for us to move forward and to ensure what we're doing is right for the people of Newry, Morningdown. And we have, as I say, a very good mix of people in our councillor group. And I think that's our priority, just pushing forward. I mean, that's what people want. People on doorsteps in my area aren't really talking about flags. They're talking about, they're talking about planning issues, they're talking about welfare cuts, they're talking about housing benefit issues. Very, very real issues that affect people on a daily basis.
Laura, are they also talking about the geographic nature of that new super council? It's big. Yours is a large council. Is it possible that those who live on either end of it will feel very disconnected from other people?
Well, hopefully not, Mark. And yes, we're the third biggest council in Northern Ireland after, I think, Belfast and Derry. It stretches from Crossmaglen to Killalay, which is a huge, vast area. But I think one of the key things are to ensure that local people have access to local representatives, and also the council services aren't seen as something away big up in Newry or in Downpatrick, that there is local access. So I think that's going to be a big thing for our new shadow council, to be a priority of mine.
Yeah, well, from what I know, of course, Alex is absolutely huge. It's by far the biggest of the new super councils. What do you think that geographic issue, how big an impact will that have on people as they begin to connect with their new political representatives?
There's always going to be a trade-off with bigger councils. Government is less local. And I think it's incumbent on us as local representatives to remain active in our communities and to connect the council to the people. And like I was saying, my own council is a very big geographical spread, and the important thing is to emphasise that I'm here for all the people of Lisburn and Castlereagh, no matter where you are, and I'll do the right thing for that entire district. Okay, Ross, just a final thought to you. Green councillor in Belfast for the first time. We've had other kinds of green councillors, you might argue, but do you think that City Hall is ready for your brand of green politics?
Very much hope so, and I think that people are looking for something different and looking for a change. So I'm, as I say, bringing the principles of clean politics, sustainability, and social justice to the agenda, and that's what I'm going to focus on, and I'm willing to work with everybody on those lines.
Okay, well, very interesting to hear your thoughts. We wish you well. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Let's hear more now from Sheila Davidson and Gladys Gagnon. Gladys, there's a lot of optimism around, and of course there should be, that's entirely appropriate, but there are also challenges, aren't there?
There are. I mean, I would like to commend the three here for their optimism going forward, but I'm hoping they're not underestimating the teething problems that will come with trying to implement the new councils. And also, just picking up on the discourse here of, I suppose, mutual respect and so on and so forth around the emblems, flags, symbols and so forth. I think that's all well and good, but it's probably not quite enough. I think what's needed is a sort of extravagant leadership that kind of goes beyond the mutual tolerance and respect, and there's a bit of, I suppose, grace or discourse about the common good, and is willing to take that extra step and to demonstrate to people what it might actually look like, and to go beyond the mutual respect to, I suppose, just a gracious way of speaking and talking with each other.
Okay, Sheila, your thoughts on this briefly?
Well, I mean, the first job of every politician is to get re-elected, but there's always a lovely honeymoon period when you've just been elected and you can be so very gracious, as Gladys has just said. The challenge for these young people, and I'm so pleased to hear such wonderful, articulate and thoughtful considerations on what our problems are, and what I hope that will be applied to what our solutions are, and that's what we'll all be looking for you to give us some leadership and deliver on that.
Okay, we will see. Thank you for now. The old adage says that manners maketh the man, and while we might now live in a more informal world, minding your P's and Q's are still important to some, particularly those who tread the corridors in the Palace of Westminster.